So with that, the portion of my talk that was going to really go into detail on some of the architecture that Annie and I have been doing sort of fell to the wayside. I apologize. But there's a whole little slideshow at the end that will run through that, so you can look forward to that. California is about the same size as New Zealand in land area, but we have 10 times the number of people. We also are in a somewhat different climate, much hotter, much drier, and for the last 3 years we've been in a terrible drought. I know you've experienced natural disasters here in New Zealand. We've had several of our own. In 2014, the Rim Fire, the third worst fire in America, burned 250,000+ acres in the Sierra Nevada. Much of that is standing dead timber from beetle kill, largely the result of climate change. That is one of the challenges that our state fire marshal is dealing with, is 12 million acres of standing dead tree. And we've discussed biochar and cross-laminated timber and other solutions for that. This particular fire, anyone have any idea what that might be or might have been? What kind of house? That was a straw bale house. This home burned in the Squaw Metals fire. It was in the Sierra Nevada, near Mono County. And this fire was so devastating that very few structures withstood it. One of our CASBA members lost a home there, and he recalled talking with the fire marshal, and they just never seen anything like it. Wind 75 to 100 miles per hour, nothing left standing in its path. Except, remarkably, this other little test building, also a straw bale on the same property. So we know that with proper detailing, straw buildings can survive. This is a survey of all of the fires we had in the year 2015. And at the bottom there, the Butte and Valley fires were two of the most devastating in California history. The Valley fire was the third most destructive, and nearly 3,000 structures were destroyed. We know through research done by the Ecological Building Network and others that straw bale walls can be a part of a fire-resistant system. In fact, in the Valley fire, 2 structures, one of straw bale and one of cob, survived. The one of straw bale featured a living roof, heavy timber frame, and even though all the buildings nearby were burned, this one was left standing. Similarly, a cob building survived handsomely when the adjacent structures only 20 meters away were destroyed. This, remarkably, was in today's paper, or yesterday's, Sunday's, and it recalls that many of the victims of this fire had no insurance. In fact, we talked with one person who, weeks before the Valley fire, their insurance company pulled their insurance. This got us to thinking, and I have to give credit to Elon Musk, who's the founder of Tesla Motors, as well as SpaceX, and now the Tesla battery, and I think he founded PayPal, which is funding all of this. On the radio, someone discussed that they have a complete open source technology. Any other auto manufacturer, any other person that wants to build a rocket and go to space has access to their information. They will tell them how they did it. And this got Annie and I thinking that, you know, we could do this with straw bale technology. People shouldn't have to pay for it. So we decided to make plan sets, which we've been selling through another strawbaleplans.com, Andrew Morrison. We've been making them available. We decided we would just make them available for free. Our structural engineering partner agreed, and they offered to provide the engineering as well. So we've been helping a number of families rebuild homes using straw bale, a more fire-resistant and better technology. We put this out. We put this out on Facebook. It went somewhat viral. Other CASBA members contacted us, John Swearingen of Skillful Meats, Bob Tice, both of whom many of you know, similarly made plans available. Bob had designed a house 10 years ago, again for a fire victim, and decided this would be a perfect little starter home that could then be expanded for people. So just a quick survey through some of the projects we're making available. This is a very fancy Sonoma County home, but on this same parcel was a second unit. And the owners of this project very kindly said, sure, please make the plans for our second unit available to anyone. And all of the projects, I should say, our owners were more than generous in sharing. And we own the rights to the drawings. We could have done it anyways, but we felt it was most important that they do it. So this is a little 660 square foot, which is about 61 square meter little in-law unit. It has a living room, dining room, kitchen all in one, bedroom, bathroom. Very simple rectangle. Nothing terribly fancy, and in fact, a relatively affordable design. There are folks in, as well as California, Washington State, that are interested in this particular design. Another client of ours, actually a longtime CASBA member, she's responsible for bringing Matt Smerman and Judy Knox to California back in 1994. Barbara Romer was building a dwelling unit on her property, the Lost Hill Farm Cottage. Slightly bigger, 835 square feet or 77 square meters. That's on the main floor there. There's a workshop space below and a little loft above. This became one of our CASBA sites for both a Bail Basics workshop, several work parties, and then a fall retreat that we've had as an organization. So just bringing people together, learning about straw building. The Wee Button Ben is another plan that's available. It's a backyard unit in the city of Berkeley. I won't go into the details of how the plan checker felt that, I will go into details. The plan checker felt that straw bale was not suitable for habitable construction. Didn't have any reason to say that other than his own personal opinion. The irony is that the city of Berkeley owns and built a straw bale building. So we still have education to do. This is an even smaller unit, 480 square feet, which is 40 square meters, and it similarly has a kitchen and bath back-to-back in a wood-framed area. We picked up just enough width to squeeze those in, living dining room and a bedroom. This was a site of a family and friends bale raising, and then we followed that up with a CASBA-sponsored plaster workshop. There's Bob Tice and Tracy Terrio. And wonderful learning opportunity that in this case was very conveniently located for a good number of people to come and see it. One of the other things we're doing with the straw bale fire program is offering to modify plans. Not every home fits every site, nor every family's living situation. This particular home that was lost was owned by two families, and they shared the kitchen, dining, living space. So we put two Wee Button Bens together. Then we discovered they were in a flood zone and had to be 7 feet, roughly 2 meters above the ground. So we created some storage space beneath it. So just evolving the plans to meet people's needs. One of the bigger homes we're making available, about 2,500 square feet, or 230 square meters, is the Santa Cruz straw bale. This was actually named Fine Home Building's Home of the Year in 2012. It was a good way to bring straw bale into the mainstream in America. They provided these wonderful illustrations of the I-joist system that I described the other night, and we were able to make a little bit of headway there. This particular design features a bridge over a tall space above the dining room that connects to the master bedroom beyond, and a madrone tree that the owners harvested themselves, and marks that sunny space in the middle, more intimate space in the end of the dining room. And there's that project. And the people that are behind it. And one of the things that I've enjoyed more than anything else about building in straw bale and ecological design generally is the quality of the people that get involved with it. The builders, the owners, everyone on begun at the California Straw Building Association. We've been hosting fall retreats, bringing our members together. Not once, but twice a year. We've developed new swag, and in fact, I carried these hats and t-shirts with me on my bicycle, and I don't want to carry them out of here, so please avail yourself of those. There's also one in the silent auction. We've engaged in quite a bit of outreach as an organization, speaking at home events, having booths. There's a music festival in San Francisco called Outside Lands, and we build an amphitheater there every year. I've started giving webinars on straw bale construction to architects, and I've discovered that this may be our most important form of outreach, is getting to those who help to make the decisions. And as Bruce and others have mentioned, we're now targeting ultra-low carbon building as the brand of straw bale construction. And I think we're going to reach them, whether we like it or not. We host a spring conference every year, and in fact, our upcoming spring conference is in April. You are all hereby invited to come join us. It's on the Carrizo Plain, which is Central California, one of the most amazing places in the world. Some of our other efforts on a more professional and detailed basis, we're going to reinstate the pro course with the coming of the 2016 California Residential Code chapter, fully adopted. Martin will get into that on straw bale construction. Several of our members are engaged in helping overseas. Martin in Nepal and Haiti. Darcy Mesner-Donovan working in Pakistan. I think Martin talked about this yesterday. I will now warn everyone in the room who's here from Christchurch or the surrounding area. Darcy did some amazing shake table testing at the University of Nevada, Reno, large-scale structures laboratory. And many people were killed in Pakistan when their stone homes fell on them. And so this is a form of building that will save lives. Some of the other things we've engaged in are post-occupancy evaluation using infrared cameras to show that we have very little thermal bridging. Also blower door testing and achieving passive house rated buildings using straw bale. Dave, are we going? Should be. There we go. Similar to the graph that Craig White shared the other day, this is our version of it. We did some testing in the middle of a straw bale wall. The curves that go highest and lowest are the outdoor temperature. That beautiful purple line down the middle is the middle of the straw bale wall, and you can see that it has a perfect 12-hour time lag from the temperatures on the exterior and interior surfaces. So that property, more than any other, is what brings us the amazing performance of straw bale walls. And now the most exciting thing we're doing at CASBA is research into carbon, white paper that's been put together by one of our members, Massey Burke. Come on, baby. There's Massey, second to the left, and this paper is trying to put together all the information that we have so far, and of course I've come to New Zealand and picked up a whole lot of new information, but just to evaluate straw as a carbon sink for our buildings. We got interested in this in 2010. Stuart Staniford's early warning blog did a study, and he actually proposed with the numbers he was using that straw bale could sequester carbon just by substituting it into the walls. I think his embodied emissions on some of the other materials were a little bit low. Others around that same time were performing studies. This is the University of Lincoln in the UK. and they found that straw did sequester more carbon than other building types, but not as much to outweigh the embodied emissions. Chris Magwood, who sends his regards and regrets for not being here, recently shared the story of the carbon elephant in the room, along with Jacob Gaba-Racusin, many of whom you know, if not personally, from the Global Network. And they tried to put into very visual, real, understandable terms a comparison of 4 different home shells. Conventional home, a conventional home with some thought put to low carbon choices, the typical high performance home, which features quite a bit of high-tech foam insulation and other embodied energy rich materials, and then finally a high performance natural building, straw bale walls, cellulose and other insulations. These are the technologies used. I won't go into great detail here, but you can see the comparison embodied carbon that actually the high performance foam home greatly outweighs even the conventional home with the extra carbon footprint of the materials that are going into it. So to put those into visual terms, and I need to teach Chris and Jacob a little bit about perspective, but you can see that the impacts are fivefold when we look at the number of new homes that are going to be built and how we could possibly reduce carbon significantly by building natural buildings rather than high performance home. And as Bruce and others have discussed, we need to do this now, not later, because over the 35-year lifespan of the building, even with the operating costs in, the embodied carbon of a high-performance foam building is, of the low-carbon building is, the operating combined carbon of a high-performance natural building is significantly less than even the embodied carbon of all of the others. These are some of the details of things, and obviously occupant behavior is one of the most critical things that needs to be factored in. All of this plays into our combined interest in global climate change, and what's coming in California is a mandate that all residential units in the year 2020 be net zero energy, and we believe straw bale has a major role to play in that. One of the ways we've been funding this is through our the bicycle riding efforts of many of our members. Climate rides over the past 5 years have generated over $12,000, much of which has gone, or a good portion of which has gone to supporting the effort of getting straw bale into the building code, which is going to make it easier for a lot of other people to do this. And without further delay, I give you Martin Hammer, our lead code author.